And we're live for week 16 of fantasy football preview, and the staff has been cut in half. I told Max we wouldn't make fun of him for missing, but because he's actually the Online News Association. Shameless plug. I'm a member. He's a member. He's at a holiday party for them, which I wish we. I think ours has one, but I missed it. It was over the weekend. And Seth is not feeling well. We got late notice, but feel better, Seth. And hopefully we'll see. I think Max is gone also next week, but hopefully we'll see Seth back. So I guess it's back to the olden days. It's just us two.
Yep. I'd like to say, first of all, the great ones play hurt, so there's no excuse for missing. And once again, the guy you always kick around is the only person that ever shows up for every
It's
show.
true. I'll compliment you this time. I mean, this is technically the end of the season, and you've been here every week.
2 years running.
2 years running. So I'll get that personalized, little notarized note off to you in the mail just to congratulate you on doing such a outstanding job and being here like a trooper, whether it's on the iPad or your laptop. But I do want to give you the opportunity because I know random note that this is your first week without your gray hoodie that I'm noticing. So I want you to sort of explain, unless you want to save that for a little later.
Oh, this isn't even for like laughs or anything. I just wanted to wear it once. Going to a White Elephant Christmas party next week, and my joke gift is a Blaine Gabbert jersey, which I'm wearing now, and I enjoy it.
Just have to give it a test run to see how it feels, right?
$20 on NFLshop.com. I think there's like 4 left.
Whoa, I might have to go run and get one. I just hop on that Jaguars bandwagon before it takes off or crashes and burns, whatever happens first. I guess I'll do some explaining too. I'm over football. I'm over American football. So I'm going to the real football here. This is the Italia jersey. Do I want to get into what happened on Sunday night? Not really, but it was a mess. I feel like I was kicked in the heart.
It's a bad loss.
It was terrible. It was terrible. It's to get into the playoffs now. Not that I want to talk about them. It's still very doable with the rest of the Eagles' schedule.
You got to win out at a minimum. Win out and get some help.
Oh yeah, we got to win out, and the Dallas has to lose either of its next two.
The wild card's gone. There's no way.
Oh, I know. I'm well aware. So
I don't think you guys have any tiebreakers.
the only one we have is over Dallas, which would be for the NFC.
Even Detroit, because Detroit has a better conference record.
Yep. So it's literally we need just a little bit of help. Indy, if there's any Colts fans out there, I'm on your side this weekend. So I know you're going to. I think they're going to Dallas, but I don't know. They're clinched now. Do you think they start resting?
No.
No.
Because they need playoff seeding.
Right. So do you think any of the three teams that clinched, all with very fantasy-heavy guys, Indy, Denver, and New England, all clinched this week? And
no, they all play. They need. They want to cinch the bye. They can both lose them, or like all three control their fate to an extent.
Right. So yeah, any of those guys, you should be good to go. So anyone like Peyton Manning's not coming out. I remember the one year they did. Do you remember the one year they rested him? He was mad, and then they went and lost him. That was in the divisional round to you guys, wasn't it?
They were 14-0, so
they had their bye, and then they also rested.
This was like early in the season because they clinched everything.
Yeah.
Caldwell just sat everyone
for like 2 weeks.
Yep, and that kind of worked out. They went to the Super Bowl and lost.
Yeah. But so, yeah, don't fret about starting any of those guys. But
except for Manning, he doesn't look so hot.
Yeah, it was just he's sort of been slouching down the end of the season here, and now has just a nice segue into injuries. Is he's dealing with a bit of a thigh injury. He missed a few minutes during the game last week. I don't think did he miss any snaps? I don't think so.
Yeah,
he did. It was one series.
Yeah.
So. But they're saying he'll be fine and ready to go for Week 16. So anyone that's counting on him, it's rough right now if you're counting on him for a championship this week. So keep an eye out on that. But if you have Manning on your roster, you're going to start him. Who are you going to go to? So other quarterback injuries: Colt McCoy down, Washington. RG3's back in. That is, man, what a carousel that is. That's really tough to watch.
Now he's gaining momentum again.
I know. What the hell? Although they basically sat on the ball the last quarter of that game. It was just pretty pathetic to watch. They didn't even try.
Yeah, they're gonna fire Gruden.
Oh man, wouldn't that be crazy? 1 year.
They will.
It's tough. I'm really interested to see how that plays out, and to get a front row seat to just the firestorm that's going to be. That's going to be.
What do you think the next like big talking? It's got to be Harbaugh, right? They're going to talk about like Harbaugh to Washington.
I guess. I don't know. It's Harbaugh. I don't know. It seems like he's going to Oakland 1 week or back to Michigan the next. Maybe
a killer trade would be
Harbaugh for Griffin.
Harbaugh and Kaepernick for Griffin and like a first-round pick.
Man, that'd be crazy.
Or like
I wouldn't put it past either of those teams.
Oh, that'd be so great.
One other quarterback injury that this does not impact anyone, I hope, or anyone that's in a playoff in the championship this week. But Jake Locker went down yet again, so Charlie Whitehurst will be back in. And then actually one other, Tom Savage went down after Ryan Fitzpatrick went down. Savage hurt his knee after Fitzpatrick broke his leg. So on the flip side, anyone that has Baltimore's defense, good week to start them this week. Mark, I know you have them going into our championship game.
I do.
I checked, they were available, I believe, in 23% of leagues, so that there's still a slim possibility that they're out there. I know they're traveling to Houston this week, but
I actually don't know who their starting quarterback is.
Thad Lewis.
Oh, he's actually not bad.
So yeah,
I saw they signed Keenum. Lewis he has a few starts. He started last year.
Yeah, so I mean it's a guy with experience, but that hasn't started all year. So I don't know.
Somebody good. I don't know if he might have beaten New England.
I'll
look that up.
But while you look that up, running backs to keep an eye on: DeMarco Murray. I'm sure you guys saw he had surgery on a broken bone in his hand this week on Monday. He practiced today, very, very limited. Not sure what it's going to be. It's obviously something to keep an eye on because this is a guy you were just waiting all season for the injury to happen, and here it is. At the most crucial time in fantasy land and also in just the regular NFL season. So he's thinking he's going to go, but it's really just a matter of whether he can, like with all running backs, hold on to the ball and what the impact there is going to be. Gore and Hyde both looked a little banged up this week.
Yeah, they were last week.
So keep an eye on them. I don't see statuses for either of them, whether they've been like ruled in or out. But either way, Alphonso Smith is a guy you might want to look at for anyone that needs running back depth or whatever. Rashad Jennings, another ankle injury, so Andre Williams is in. Wide receivers, Keenan Allen,
done.
Ankle injury, he's done. T.Y. Hilton's strained his hamstring, so something to keep an eye on. And that's about it.
Nope, there's a big one. Julio.
Julio, that's right, his hip. So that
from what I read, I think he didn't practice today, and they're saying he's a game time decision for Sunday.
Yeah, keep it. Well, yeah, that's the one that surprised a lot of people I know last week. So
11:30 announcement.
Oh man, that was rough.
You can tell because I'm looking at the rankings, and I just lost it. I had it up.
Yep.
But oh man, it's on ESPN. Like they have the 4 rankings. His rankings right now are 2, 7, 9, and not ranked. So
man,
that's dicey.
Crazy. That's a guy you want in there, especially this week. But looking how he played through that injury in Green, I don't know. That was tough to see him not go out there. But I mean, obviously they're thinking more long term right now. But if they can, hang on to the.
That's rough though, because that's a good matchup.
I know. Oh God. Oh well. Well, keep an eye on it. He hasn't been ruled out, right? So
no, I told you game time decision.
Game time decision.
But no practice. That's not a good sign.
Yeah,
even if he plays, he might not get like a lot of attention.
Yeah, it's possible. It's a guy that no matter what happens, if he's in there, I feel like he's gonna be an impact. Just because he's gonna get extra attention and whatnot, but he's still Julio Jones and can put up numbers. He showed it in Green Bay. That hip injury. It was late in the game, but there was still another 2 drives in that game, and he sort of basically, along with Matt Ryan, dragged them back into that game.
Mm.
So it's just, if he's a go on Sunday, you're going to have him in your lineup, I think. Yeah, so that pretty much does it for injuries and headlines. So I guess, man, this is going to move along quick. Right and wrong, Mark. I got to win this week. I'm not going to lie, but I know I'm not the highlight of this show because you are officially in our championship game in our league. So I'll let you take it.
I will say that this show moves a lot faster with two people. Usually, I use like the time you're talking to look up what I'm about to talk about. So maybe a little more of my game this week. Well, that's the title game. As far as what went right, very little. My team did all right, but I just played a garbage team that put up 50 points in the biggest game of the season. So I got to the title game by default, which I can't complain about. I ended up putting up about 100. I think the big producer, obviously, was the Ravens D, which is coming out for an encore this week versus unnamed Texans quarterback.
Yep.
Hopefully Keenum. I hope Keenum gets in there.
Yeah, oh God, he's always
that's
good.
Juicy. That's the pick six.
Yeah.
Thad Lewis will tuck the ball and run. And actually, he did not beat New England. Not even close.
Who was it?
He beat Miami twice.
Oh.
He went 2-4.
Ew.
So that's not too bad. Other than that, nothing. Business as usual. Brown was okay.
Breeze got you points.
Yeah, Breeze had a good game, but it wasn't like off the charts or anything. He looked good. That's more encouraging.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the only other things you could have done really, looking at your bench, Hopkins. What was your thought process? Because I know Andre Johnson, he didn't go, or was like a game time decision heading into last week. Why was he on your bench?
Hopkins. Well, because I had Johnny Money throwing to Josh Gordon, and I thought I was probably gonna be fine. Evans was a better play than Hopkins. He probably still is.
Yeah.
And I knew Fitzpatrick would break his leg, so that's why I kept him out.
That's fair. So
I do predict people breaking their legs in games, so I do make decisions.
You do. That's not even a bold prediction for you anymore. It's just run of the mill. So who's going to break their leg this week?
I can't say.
All right, we'll hold on.
Thad Lewis. Going around
for you. Oh man, imagine that emergency quarterback situation. That's Washington actually almost had to. I don't know if you were watching any of that game. They almost had to go to an emergency quarterback, and I forget who they said it was. But
who's left on it?
McCoy went out, and Cousins wasn't active, and then Griffin got sort of hobbly one series.
So it was like a punter or something, or like a receiver?
Yeah, it was one of the receivers. I forget who. I think it was on Roberts. I said don't quote me on that, but it was just crazy that it was a possibility. I've never seen an emergency quarterback have to be used. In all of my years of watching football, I've probably heard of it, but I've never been watching a game and seen an emergency quarterback go in.
By emergency, do you mean third string or just like non-quarterback?
No, non-quarterback have to go. I've seen
it.
I've seen third string, but not what was it? McNabb when he went down in like 2002 with the ankle injury. That was actually a story today because it was Reed called Aikman went out somewhere and told about how Andy Reid called him in the middle of a game while he was commentating and asked him if he wanted to come quarterback in Philadelphia. But it went McNabb went down, and then it was Coy Detmer.
Yeah, I remember him.
Detmer went down, and we had A.J. Feely, and that was fun. And then even a couple seasons later, we had Coy went down again in the middle of a game after McNabb was down.
Mike McMahon?
Was that Mike McMahon, yep. And I was at that game. It was against the Giants.
I've seen non-quarterback situations happen. I can't think maybe like Rod Smith or something, but I've never seen it for a whole game. It's just for like a series or so. Like the backup quarterback gets dinged up, they don't have a third stringer, and they just have to do a bunch of run plays and like draws and stuff. Because obviously,
I guess if you think about it today, at least 2 years ago when the Wildcat was prevalent, it would have been less of a shock maybe for teams that ran it a lot, but it's still a situation you never want to see your team be in.
I'll tell you the best emergency situation that I remember. I think it happened with Baltimore. It's about 10 years ago. I don't know what was up with their kicker, but I think their kicker got hurt. Then their punter got hurt.
Oh man.
So they were kind of screwed, and they had to turn to none other than Cordell Stewart to punt for them for the game.
Oh my God! Hey, if that ever happened in Pittsburgh, you always have Ben that does his little pooch kicks that they used to like to do. They haven't done that in a while, have they?
I hate those things.
the little drop kicks.
He's pretty good at it, though.
He is. That's the thing. He was good at it. So if they ever needed him, they could use him. I guess for me, what went right, it took 15 weeks, but sort of everything seemed to go off perfectly for me this week. And by perfectly for me, I mean I went up against a team that didn't put up triple digits. I did myself, so I put up 122. Manning, despite going down, still had a good game with 13, and Foster continued to be a workhorse. He just barely held on to his double-digit status for games that he's been in, but Gore got a touchdown, which was nice to see, and Odell Beckham Jr., I don't know what else you can say. The guy's really come on ever since he came back from injury. Just big catches all day, 3 touchdowns. Love it. And then the only real tough call I had, and I wouldn't even call it tough, was I had Miami and New England going up against each other for defense. And just the way those teams were trending, it was pretty simple to go with New England there. And that happened. The only move that I could have made that would have given me 3 extra points was starting Eric Decker over Macklin. So, and that, I don't know. When you're the 12th out of 12 teams, you don't concern yourself with those kinds of things.
Yeah, when you're in the lowest rung of the losers bracket.
And the only thing I'm proud of is that I will not finish on the bottom rung. So, despite everything, how the season has gone and everything my team's been through, being the highest scoring team, I might reclaim that crown actually, which would be fantastic by the end of the season. So that's the only thing I'm playing for at this point.
All right. Well, anyway, to finish the story, I looked it up. Cordell Stewart was a punter on November 14th, 2004. They won. Ravens beat the Jets. He had 5 punts for an average of 35.4 per punt, which actually isn't that bad for.
No, not at all. It's athletic. You know what if Washington ever needed a kicker, I know, RG3 was punting the ball to himself the other day. I'm sure they could always turn to him if they needed to in a pinch. So.
That's another fun one. We'll have this game up. I'll give you a shiny new Blaine Gabbert jersey if you can guess the QBs of that game. Jets versus Ravens, 2004.
Oh, but Testaverde? No. Testaverde?
No, he's gone.
Pennington.
He was also. He must have been hurt or something.
Oh man, I have no idea.
All right, what about Baltimore?
Dilfer.
A little later.
It's not Dilfer. I don't know. Not McNair. No, McNair.
No, I thought so too. This is a great pod, by the way. This is good.
Go for it.
Kyle Bowler and Quincy Carter.
Oh, Quincy Carter. Oh my God. Kyle Bowler
has been horrible for years.
Man, that's been a long time. You go from Quincy Carter basically to Sanchez. I don't want to mention his name on this week, so I'm over him right now. So let's just move on quickly.
You don't want to talk about how I tried to warn you for weeks?
No, I don't. We all knew what we were getting ourselves into. We just
and how you're going to beg for Foles to come back and worship him like a god.
Oh, it is what it is. What are you going to do? So, MVPs of last week. What do you got? I'll start with.
Yeah, go first.
I know Bryant. Dez was. It could be an easy pick, but since he went up against the Eagles, I'm not going to stoop myself to that level. So I'm going to go with Odell Beckham Jr. with his 3 touchdown performance.
That's almost certainly going to be my pick. I'm looking up to see if there's anybody else that pops, but yeah, that's the pick.
Yeah, those two had, just dominant performances on the field, and you wouldn't be wrong with either one.
You make an argument for Ravens D and Jeremy Hill too.
Yeah, Hill. The fan that rejected Hill from going into the stands was my MVP of last week. That was awesome. My non-MVP would have to be Aaron Rodgers. This is crazy, but Aaron Rodgers up in Buffalo, man.
That's a good one.
That was rough. I don't want to say I was going to save this for bold predictions, but I told ours last week. We were both well, you were wrong. The Joique Bell 76 yards rushing and passing, or not rushing and receiving, and the one touchdown, but he didn't have any. He came close rushing. He had like 60 some. But me, I went with the Kyle Orton would outperform Aaron Rodgers, and I was close. Rodgers had 5 fantasy points this week, and Orton had 4. So technically, it didn't work out. But Orton threw one less interception, had a fewer yards, but Orton's completion percentage was closer to like 60%. I think he was like 18 of 20 something. Rodgers, on the other hand, man, aside from fumbling away that safety at the end of the game, end up going 17 or 18 for like 45, so less, like close to 40% for his complete. It was an ugly game. It was terrible for him.
Tough day at the office for him.
So, and it was nice to see that after just, I know they were away from Lambeau, and the crazy thing about that is Green Bay in their franchise's history has never won a game in Buffalo. Ever.
Isn't fantasy football cruel?
It is.
You make the right choice, and you have Rodgers all season. You ride him, and when you need him the most, he's gone.
That happens.
And that's actually like a fun hypothetical then. Like, who's more valuable, Rodgers, who takes you all the way to the playoffs and then screws you over, or, I don't know, someone like, I'm trying to look at a good example. What about
Russell Kaepernick? Wilson? I don't know. Someone that's just there all season long.
Like Eli Manning. This is a good one. Eli Manning had 22 points last week.
Yeah.
Who's more valuable, having Eli Manning and like the QB by committee that suck most of the year but give you the points in the playoffs when you actually need them, or Rodgers, who gets you to the playoffs and kind of screws you? Like, obviously it's not fair to say that because he's not going to do it every year, but like for just this season, like, who's more important?
I mean, it depends on the setup of the league. Like ours, if you're in a tight fantasy league and you need the like ours is separated by points scored, and if it came down to that, you would want those accumulated points. But at the same time,
I'll tell you what. I'm in my other league. I'm in the title game. It's a more QB heavy league. The bonuses are huge. You get a 5-point bonus for 300 yards passing. You get another 5-point bonus for 400 yards passing, and every passing touchdown is 6 points. So QB play is enormous. And Rodgers, I worked with a person that was playing against him. He had him pegged for like 40 points. Damn. And he clocked in with 6.
Damn.
And that team was dead. It was dead right there.
That's terrible. Yeah, that's a tough way to go down. But it happened. So I guess does he flip the script this week though? I mean, you look at them.
Their match is Tampa, right?
Yeah, they're at Tampa, so they're on the road again. But Tampa's the 22nd ranked offense, or I'm sorry, 22nd ranked team against opposing quarterbacks. They're giving up an average of 17.3. They're coming off a game where Newton scored 16 against them the week before. Both of these games were on the road for them, but the week before they were at Detroit, and Stafford put up 25. So
you're playing them. Obviously, if you survived getting screwed by him once, you might as well ride it again and hope to get some of that value back. Unless you get like Johnny Football sitting on the bench ready to go, you're not benching Rodgers.
Speak of the guy, he's probably the true not MVP. Let's be real. 2 touchdowns, getting shut out in his first performance.
And he wrecked everyone else, like, in his wake. Like,
yep, Josh Gordon still put up.
Jordan
still put up like
4 points.
4 or 5, yeah.
Jordan Cameron, who I liked as a sneaky tight end pickup, had 4 yards receiving, but he was the leading receiver for the team most of the first half.
Did we really not expect it to be a terrible performance, though?
You never know. Like, he's bad, obviously, but I was kind of hoping he'd be weird bad, where he like ran a lot and threw like lucky touchdowns.
And it just, I mean, nothing for him.
Remember, Tebow was ultimately not a good quarterback, but when he was a rookie,
amazing. He had that 8-game stretch.
Yeah, but even his rookie year, like the year before that, he scored. He sucked and the team lost, but he was scoring.
It's crazy. Crazy stuff. I don't expect him to continue to be that bad. I don't know. Am I being not saying that? Yeah, he can't. You can't go 10 of 18 and no touchdowns and 2 picks 2 weeks in a row, can you?
Was he really 10 of 18? It seemed a lot less than that.
10 of 18 for 80 yards.
How many sacks did he take? It felt like he was going to sack.
Too many. But he should have had 3 picks too. The other one I think was like out of bounds or something like that happened. But man, it was brutal.
It's so bad for these teams that have nothing at quarterback. If they had anything, they would be either in the playoffs or like a fringe contender.
I know, they're sitting there.
Pretty nice offense and a good defense.
They're sitting there at 7-7, and they had Brian Hoyer for a majority of the season, and now Johnny Manziel for probably like 2 games cumulative.
Same thing with the Rams. The Rams should be a lot better than they are, and it's because they have absolutely nothing at quarterback. Yeah. And same thing, Buffalo. Buffalo is 8-6. They should be much better.
Kyle Orton.
Yeah, he sucks.
It's crazy. Crazy. All those teams are, but if you look at the other side of those teams, they're teams that are defense first. So they're coaches that believe if you have a strong defense, it doesn't matter what your offense does. And then you look at the other way. Look at a team like Philly. I'm gonna go there. They're a team that is offense first. Obviously, right now we're stuck in a situation where our starting quarterback, who still isn't the ideal, I don't think, quarterback for that system, is out, and we're playing with our backup, and we don't have a good defense, and look where that left us. We could put points up left and right, but if you can't stop the other team, so I don't know, it's finding that balance. This is obviously getting into too much of an actual football conversation, but
we wouldn't want that.
No, not this week. We'll save that for next week. But no, but yeah, I don't know, it's finding that balance, and those teams, I think, it's weird because they're not bad enough where they'll get a high enough pick to draft a franchise-type quarterback.
I'll throw this out here, complete non sequitur. Kaepernick for Foles in a 3rd-round pick.
Oh, man. Is it crazy that I'm thinking about it?
That's why I made the hypothetical. You're supposed to think about it.
I am thinking about it, and I don't know. That would be interesting. My ideal situation was I would mortgage the future right now for a shot at Mariota. That's just me, though.
You mean like trade all your picks? You'd have to trade all.
Not quite to the extent that Washington did for RG3, but I would throw in Foles and maybe this year's and next year's first rounder.
Foles is tradable because he's cheap. You could flip him to like Buffalo or something for a 2nd-round pick pretty easily.
Yeah. I would.
St. Louis, oh man, St. Louis could make that trade
in a second. That'd be crazy, but I don't know.
We actually don't know if Foles is good or not. That's the problem.
That's the problem.
But he's cheap,
and that's good. He was so good at the end of 2012, 2013.
Last year. Just say last year.
2013 last year, and really sucked it up this year. Not good. So I don't know. I think you gotta give him one more year, just to see if he actually is good, or one more offseason or something. But the other thing is I don't know how long Chip's gonna want to sit on this and not try to improve at that position. He's someone that always wants to look to improve everywhere.
He's got to worry about his job too if he misses the playoffs this year. So he hasn't won a playoff game yet.
Yeah, well, it's only 2 years.
Give him another 2 years and say he still doesn't win a playoff game,
Then we'll talk. But I just love him as a football mind. So I think just to see what he's done in 2 years. I mean, 9. I don't know. I don't want to get into that conversation. I'm not ready for it yet. The season's still happening. But so looking ahead to next week, MVP for next week.
Well, I'm only going to speak from personal bias because it would be nice for me. I would prefer it to be Andrew Luck.
Yeah, he's got a great matchup.
Sure does.
Defensive-wise. Yeah, I mean, I know they're going to Dallas, but they're still middle of the pack, giving up like just slightly over league average for points per game. 16.
I'll nominate another one, and this is you have to use a little different logic than you normally would when you're talking about like fantasy MVP, but it's going to have to be Matt Forte. Cutler's bench, that sucks. Clausen's in, he sucks. And Forte has to run against Detroit's run D, which also sucks.
Yep.
So you're in a position where you're not going to bench Forte.
Nope.
So you're just like you're riding into the storm essentially. So if he gets you through that and has a solidly above average game, that's MVP worthy.
You know what's crazy? I just talked trash on him, but Sanchez has a chance to be an MVP this week. He's going up against the 32nd ranked defense against fantasy quarterbacks. The Washington is giving up the most points, 21.6 per game. They haven't given up less than 16 in, oh my God, all but 3 of their games.
Oh, you poor fool.
So I don't know. It's not going to be him. I'll go with Rodgers. I think he's going against Tampa Bay, that young secondary. They're not a good defense. So my crazy pick would be Sanchez, but no, I'll be smart and go Rodgers.
Not to turn this into Eagles talk because I would hate that more than anyone else, but the argument against Sanchez, and I think it's pretty interesting. It's a Saturday game. Those are weird.
Yeah, that is, and that's something I didn't realize until like 2 weeks ago. I was like, oh yeah, that's a Saturday game. So really weird. It throws everyone off. It'll throw everyone for a loop. So I don't know. Maybe.
And also Phillies, they're favored by 8.5 points. I don't give Mark Sanchez 8.5 points on the road. I don't care. I don't care how bad Washington is.
Yeah, I don't know. It's gonna be tough, but every game's gonna be tough from here on, and it's tough to rely on it as they need it literally. But yeah, I don't know. So matchups. What are you looking at this weekend of games that runs from Thursday through Saturday to Sunday and Monday?
Game of the year, Thursday night, Tennessee Jacksonville.
Whew. It's gonna be a barn burner.
In the words of people have made this joke, so I'm just parroting it. But in the words of Phil Simms, I'm honestly looking forward to it.
That's a why. Explain to me.
That's what he said. I don't know. That was his direct quote.
Is it because you're wearing your Gabbert or no Bortles?
No, it's Gabbert. No, it's so sad you can't.
Oh my God! Ugh, terrible.
No, well, first of all, Gabbert's not playing that game, so do I care? And secondly, no one's watching that game.
No.
No one has fantasy guys in that. No one has money on it. Nobody there's no playoff implications, and these are 2 of the weakest fan bases in the league. Who gives a crap?
Yep. That sounds about right. What was
got another one. Ooh, I'll go.
Go for it.
Seattle versus Arizona.
Oh, that's the game I wanted to get to.
All right, good. Let's talk this one up.
You
go first.
So I want to throw a different that has sort of nothing to do with this game. What retired quarterback should Arizona reach out to bring back?
That's a fun one. Well, those are the obvious ones. Favre and Warner are obvious. See, it's tough because you have to factor in who kept themselves in shape.
Yeah.
And who retired a smidge too young?
Tebow?
No. That's not what they want. They want the grizzled, veteran, stable type. One idea is he might be a little older now. Mark Bolger. That's a couple years past prime.
What an interesting idea. They literally, it's who's still slightly good enough that we could reach out to them for a game or 2.
I'm working on it.
And then think about that. If Favre, just say Favre, because
the answer is Favre. It should be Favre.
It's crazy, but it could. I don't know. It could happen. You never know. If he comes in for 2 games, does he have to wait 5 years again?
Yeah.
Isn't that nuts?
I guess they could waive it or something, but why would they do that?
Man. Honestly.
David Carr. I'm just randomly scrolling down a list.
I think I would still go with Favre.
No,
Favre or Warner. I don't know. Warner still looks in shape.
Trent Edwards. AJ Feely. Josh Freeman.
Oh man.
Man, his career's over, I guess. That sucks for him.
Is Terrell Pryor still out there somewhere?
I thought about Pryor. Yeah, I think he's out there. Who's Jeff Garcia? He's only 45, isn't he?
And he always seems to come back for like someone's training camp every year.
All right, another quick trivia question. What was Jeff Garcia's last year in the league?
Was it 2013 last year?
Man, you ruined my joke because I thought you'd undersell it and say like 07.
No.
He played in 11.
He played in 11?
Yeah. Actually, I think he tried to come back last year.
Yeah, his name always pops up. It's crazy. The guy just
All right, let's get him in there.
Ageless wonder.
All right, he's now a candidate for the job.
Ridiculous. They're literally, if they did not start out the season 9-1, they are out.
Oh no. Well, you might as well keep talking about the game because you're not going to like what I have to say about it then. Kevin Kolb, where's he?
Kevin Kolb, concussions. His career's over.
He's had some time to mend a little bit though.
So is Chris Pronger.
J.P. Lossman.
Yeah. Crazy. I don't know. That's like I said it.
Byron Leftwich.
Oh my God. Charlie Batch.
He played in the Arians offense too.
Yeah, he did. Hey, there you go.
I've already made that joke. Don't worry. McNabb.
Yeah, McNabb.
Yeah, he's washed up. I don't think.
But that's home for him. That's crazy. Well,
Tyler Palco. I could keep going all night.
Yeah. I said it last week that St. Louis is a team I don't want to be playing this time of year right now because their defense is looking sharp. I know they struggled last week, but they're one of those borderline teams that they have nothing to play for at this point. They're eliminated, and they're going to want to make whoever they're playing, if they still are playing for something, they want to make their lives a living hell. So I hate Arizona in this game.
They're playing Seattle.
Oh.
That was last week.
Oh, yeah, that's where my mind is. So, yeah, I don't want to be playing there either. So they're going to Seattle, right?
Yeah, I thought that too. They're actually in the
They're
Phoenix.
in the desert? All right. Well,
no, whatever.
keep everything I said about St. Louis and apply it to Seattle as well, except they are playing for something. So, it's their defense is just coming on. Bobby Wagner came back, and it's a different team. They're back to Super Bowl form. And this, I guess now I know why you're going to say I don't like what you have to say.
You already know what's coming out of my mouth before I even say it.
Russell Wilson has looked phenomenal. That offense is clicking, and the defense is just unstoppable. So go ahead and refute me.
Those are all valid points, but I think Arizona wins this game.
Why?
Well, for non-football reasons, first of all, everyone agrees that Seattle should probably win this game. I think it's like the basic law of reverse momentum. It's too short of a thing. Seattle they are a 9-point favorite in Glendale. That is a blatant slap in the face to a very good home team. Cardinals are undefeated at home, and I know they lost Stanton, but let's say that sentence out loud once at normal speed.
They lost.
The Cardinals' season was hinging on Drew Stanton. Drew Stanton was their QB solution. I'll say it a little slower. Drew Stanton was the Cardinals' QB solution. What are they losing?
Drew.
Yes. All right. So now they're stopping. They're going down to Ryan Lindley. Say they had their hero Stanton. Like the line for this game would probably be, I'd say like Seattle by a point or something like that. Or we'll make it nice and neat and say Seattle by 2, which is actually disrespectful to Arizona. But is Drew Stanton, he of like replacement level fame, worth a whole touchdown more than Ryan Lindley?
Drew Stanton. No, he is
We're
not.
talking about Drew Stanton. This guy
No.
dumped left and right. He needs a career backup. Who cares?
No. Yeah, I don't. No, it's not.
They play well at home.
Man.
They're undefeated at home. I think Seattle can be beaten on the road. I know they're hot lately, but they're built to be a home team, and I just don't think it's going to come that easy to them.
But my opinion on why it is Seattle's, hands down, is they're still playing for the bye. They know what this game means to them, to get home field advantage throughout. It's still there for them. That door is wide open with only 2 weeks left. So it's not like I know it's
that's the same argument that goes to Arizona. It's exact same stakes because the winner of this game clinches the playoff, like clinches the division on the spot.
Yeah.
if Arizona wins, they clinch the 1 seed. No
That's
questions.
a ton of pressure to throw a third-string quarterback into.
Correction, fourth string.
This is true.
Well, you can't have a string position if you're not on the roster. So he's a first-string quarterback.
All right, fair enough.
But
That's one way to put it.
If this team has anything, like this is bigger than whatever playoff game they're going to be in. Like they bring the house in this game because this is it. Like this is their one chance because they can play all their playoff games at home and protect their garbage quarterback. All they have to do is win this game.
That's going to be a good one. It's weird to think about that. Whoever is playing under center, if Arizona happens to swipe someone off of the street.
They're going to do QB like committee.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. But we'll see. Another obviously interesting one is going to be the Colts and Cowboys.
Yeah.
There's a lot of big games this week. Some potential playoff previews, depending on how things go. You got Denver and going to Cincinnati this week.
I actually think that's a bad matchup for Denver.
Denver, yeah, they're favored by 3.5 on the road.
Yeah,
I don't know.
like that. You're paying the Peyton Manning price. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
Say the weather gets a little chilly. That's a spotlight game. Cincinnati needs that game, and Denver's offense hasn't exactly been killing it. And I think Cincy has decent corners.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, their defense is sort of, when Andy Dalton's let them down this year, they've sort of picked them up.
Yeah, it's like a Frankenstein team. Like they're not always. I don't know if that was the term I wanted exactly, but a werewolf maybe. Like sometimes bad.
Yeah. All right. That makes some sense, I guess.
It's near the end of the season. Well, they're occasionally bad. How about that? So maybe they'll be good on Monday.
Yeah, we'll see. So how about your team going up against the Chiefs? Do you have any faith in them?
This is interesting because I've charted this.
I know. I want to go on record and say that last week was the game that everyone was like, they're supposed to win, so they're just not going to. And that's the track record of Pittsburgh. That's how it goes. I supported them.
I smelled something. I felt like
no, Seth smelled something, and what you were cooking. Seth smelled, and that just did.
I felt like this was the game that looked fishy. And also on another note, you need to admit, I think I've gotten cries of homerism at some point. Maybe he's like mocking me because I picked Steelers to win the AFC North.
Yeah.
Through our conversations on like the show over the year, you have to admit I'm the least homer person ever.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I've drilled almost all of those games with brutal honesty.
Yep.
Because I've seen all this garbage.
So does
I'm stalling for time because I want to pick the Steelers because they're suckering me in. But the more confident I feel, I have to pick Kansas City.
So that's what you're going with?
Yeah, because that's what they want me to do. They want me to pick them to win.
That's fair. And one other, I don't know, one other matchup that looks interesting, and could be. I mean, it's going to have fantasy implications no matter every game does. But the Chargers and 49ers.
Blah.
Blah. Yeah, that's exactly. Saturday. That's the Saturday night game. So another Saturday game.
When mediocrity attacks.
Yeah, right. Phillip Rivers, he's lost to Keenan Allen again outside. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. It's just another blah game to keep an eye on because there are a lot of big names, fantasy names going in that matchup.
None for me, so I will not be tuning in.
No. So that brings us to our bold predictions, which I don't know if you have one ready.
I have one ready. I'll just fire it out. Big comeback game for Mike Evans. He's got one last ride in him. I think it seems appropriate, like that the sexy waiver pickup, who's kind of faltered, will reward his owners in the title game. Let's say 125 yards and 2 touchdowns.
All right. I like that. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to I haven't done this all year because I don't like them, and I've been a supporter of Jaws, and I've been a supporter of Merrill Hodges' viewpoint on this guy. But for 1 week. Why not? And we'll make it the championship round. Johnny Football outdoes Cam Newton this week. Cleveland goes to Carolina.
Is that a joke prediction?
Is it a joke prediction?
Yeah.
No, this is real. I'm going with it because I don't like Carolina's defense. So I am going with Johnny Football, and I'm going to say he puts up.
So he's going to put up literally more than 0 points?
More than 0 points, yes. I'm sorry. Is it still Anderson?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got you. I don't know.
Newton in the hospital.
Newton, Cam Newton. He's gonna put up more points than Cam Newton. I don't know. I think Cam should be better. This freaking fracture situation, and their season's coming down.
He's gonna die. Like that seemed like a pretty nasty car accident.
It was, but I don't know.
Actually, you know what? He is day to day. I find that astounding.
Status is iffy. So. Like I said last week, it's the same injury that Tony Romo's playing through right now.
Yeah, but Romo didn't wreck his car.
Yeah, Romo is basically in a car wreck every week, getting sacked. So, if either way, whoever the Panthers quarterback is, Manziel outperforms them. Manziel goes. I'm gonna put him at 250 and above and 3 touchdowns.
Just going for ratings, whatever.
Yes, so that's what we're doing.
I'm trying to come up with
any others from you?
I'm trying to come up with one more.
I don't know.
Okay, Demaryius Thomas, less than 100 yards, no touchdowns.
Wow. All right.
Breaking hearts all across the country.
I got one. Tom Brady, less than 300 yards and 1 touchdown. More interceptions than touchdowns. Against the Jets.
Just pick the Jets to win. We both want to do it.
Oh God, I do so bad, but I'm not gonna. You know.
Take all that money you won betting on the Jets, like I told you to, and reinvest it.
And reinvest it on them. Double down, man. Well, that's all I have. I know. Didn't you want to throw out some new segment this week?
Yeah. Well, since fantasy football is wrapping up, and we have to fill time now, frankly, because there's nothing to talk about anymore. Figured we could come up with a new time-clogging segment called Overstayed Their Welcome. And basically the premise behind this is I'm going to list a NFL figure's resume, but when they were good. And you're supposed to weight their historical significance and kind of validate their meaning in the greater picture of NFL history.
Okay.
And then I reveal the name, and we realize what a laughingstock that person has turned into.
All right.
And hence, they overstayed their welcome in the NFL and threw it all away.
All right. So let's go.
Prime example. I'll start. A good example, not in the NFL, is Joe Paterno. Joe Paterno had a storied career, was around forever, overstayed his welcome, and lost it all.
Yeah. All right.
That's an extreme example.
That is.
Some dark territory that we won't touch. But all right, I'll start by reading. So, NFL head coach. His coaching stint lasted 10 years. In those 10 years, he had, I count, 8 playoff appearances. He had a 97-62 record. I count 4 division titles, 3 conference championship appearances, and he even wrote an autobiography, his own autobiography. Oh my God, autobiography.
There you go. Okay.
Now, not quite Hall of Fame worthy, but you'd have to admit that's a pretty good coaching resume.
Is this Cowher?
It is not Cowher. You can keep guessing if you'd like. I'll look up some more of his stuff.
So what? Give me a time frame.
90s.
90s.
His first 6 years of the team, he never posted a losing record. And in his 10-year coaching stint, in his 10-year coaching stint, he only had 1 losing season.
Wow.
He presided over many Pro Bowlers.
Jimmy?
And he was the head coach of the offense that at the time set the record for most points scored in the season. Now, you'd have to admit, that's a pretty good resume.
Wow.
Wouldn't you agree?
That is.
Well, congratulations. You just complimented Dennis Green.
Wow. That's interesting.
who overstayed his welcome in the NFL
Big time.
after getting fired after the 2001 season. Took the job helming the Arizona Cardinals in 2004.
He's not who he thought he was. So
Proceeded to go 6-10, 5-11, and 5-11, and in his last 5-11 season, made that soundbite that rendered the rest of his career irrelevant. And
Wow.
at the time, I'm guessing Wikipedia said they finished out 4-3, which was good for them. So that meant that he was 1-8 at the time of his tirade.
Oh man, that's crazy.
So congratulations to Dennis Green, who overstayed his welcome in the NFL.
All right, I think we got time for one more, and then this is something we can definitely hop on. If you have it lined up. If not, we'll...
Oh, another one of these? No,
You have another one?
No,
No? All right, never mind then.
I can do one.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it for next week. That's interesting. I like it. And if the other hosts are watching, we should work on bringing those to the table next week.
Oh, I can easily do one a week. But those are fun.
Overstay your welcomes. That's interesting. So, well, for anyone that made it this far into the show, congratulations on getting here, first of all. And good luck if you're in your championship round of fantasy football this week. Good luck to you. I hope you're the champion. Mark, good luck to you. Bring it home. And then I guess you'll get to write yourself a letter congratulating yourself on your title.
My prize is I don't have to write a letter if I win.
That's what you're playing for.
Yep.
All right. Well, check back with us next week too. We're gonna dive into playoff scenarios and playoff clinching scenarios in the NFL and what teams can do, and sort of make wagers amongst ourselves about what we think will happen and sort of lay out our playoff field. So yeah, congratulations on making it through the fantasy football season with us here at Fantasy Football Preview on Fully Covered Sports.